Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy New Year and welcome to this week's Monday Motivation, the first Monday Motivation for 2021. So I thought it would be apt to talk about expectations and positive expectations for the year, because for so many of us, we have kind of glided out of 2020 and into 2021. Many of us have hope, many of us have desires, plans, goals, and for some of us, they didn't just start from the 1st of January or the first day of the year. So if you're watching, thank you so much for watching. Saying a big hello to Chloe, even to Charlie. Time to wear my glasses. Oh my gosh, my eyesight, look at that with my green lenses. Charlie, good morning. Oh my gosh. Happy New Year to you as well, Charlie, and thank you for those of you that have sent some lovely messages in the run up to Christmas, over Christmas, and in the New Year. And we have Eunice. There you are. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you too. So today, I thought, I wondered whether I would cover this topic or not, and then I thought, why not? It is the start of a new year, and there's a lot of kind of new, fresh energy around there. A lot of, wiping the slate clean, starting afresh. So I wanted to really help you to tap into that for your own motivation. So today, I guess, this is definitely one to share, because not only is it motivation for your Monday, your morning, your week, your month, it's also for your year. And it's to help you to settle into the year, recalibrate your year without that feeling of dread or overwhelm. So today I thought I would talk about hope, but hope in a different way. So, for many of you, last year was kind of like a year that some of you might want to forget. Some of you navigated and you had the case of you were stronger than you thought you were. And for others, many of you reported back that you were actually, despite everything, picked yourself, had a good year. And this is not to be remiss of any of you who struggled. I spoke to many people who went through job loss. There was a lot of loss for last year, and also a lot of personal loss for those of you who had friends that were ill. I personally lost a couple of very good friends to cancer. One at the beginning of last year, and a couple more towards the end of the year. So, for all of us, we've all navigated different things. So how do you start anew, start afresh with a fresh vibe and a fresh energy, especially for those of you who are looking at your mindset and the motivation to keep putting one foot in front of the other and to do it in a way where you can personally soar. So today I'm going to talk about hope. Now, if you have pen and paper while you're watching is fine. If you're sat in bed with a cup of tea, fine. I'm not sat in bed, but I have a cup of mint tea here. It's still steaming hot, hence my slight delay while I had to reset my lighting. So with one sip, we shall dive into the topic today. So, how do you, in any circumstances, at any time, pull something positive when all around you, you're hearing different messages, different things? It's like that saying, when all around you, the world is losing their head, what do you do? Hey, it's Ivona. I can tell by the purple heart. I'm putting on my glasses just to make sure. She says, good morning, Jenny. Good morning, all. Morning, Ivona. Thank you for joining. So, if you have a pen and paper, and even if not, you should remember this, the word hope. Think of it from this point onwards as an acronym for have only positive expectations. Have only positive expectations. Now, just to quantify what this is, why this is important and what this isn't. So what this is, we all know the classic meaning of the word hope. But in this case, why this is important is, as we, navigate life, sometimes we are hit by kind of, side swerves and all sorts of different things that we just don't expect. So we can't go through our life trying to predict the future, but what we can do is to have the sorts of expectations that motivate us, that keep us going, that get us going, and even if we feel a bit derailed, with self-care, because there's nothing brilliant about pushing through barriers like pain barriers, grief barriers, any kind of mindset barriers. There are certain times to navigate and to keep walking, and there's other times to practice extreme self-care. So having only positive expectations becomes important to help us navigate the unknown. And, for many of us globally, there is still a lot of unknown. And one of the things that I didn't ever stop doing in 2020 was I didn't ever stop helping people to put themselves out there. I didn't ever stop people from standing out or showing them how to stand out. And, even in this short space of time relative to our business or our lives, I've never ever stopped putting myself out there. In a way, it's leading by example. So for those of you who are looking at how you continue to move ahead, my first piece of advice when it comes to being visible, to putting yourself out there, is to keep the momentum. And if you've fallen off the wagon in some way, don't worry. In fact, if you've fallen off the wagon in some way, this Thursday I'm running a webinar, and it's really a masterclass because I've packed it full of nuggets, insights and things that I've seen that have worked in terms of putting yourself out there. Very easy nuggets to put into place. So if you haven't already, have a look at the post. I think before this, you'll see that this Thursday I'm having the masterclass. I'm actually running it twice. And just as a reminder, it's called Visibly Confident. Visibly Confident I want to insert the word new ways to stand out in 2021. So if you are kind of needing a bit of a restart, a re-kick, a reboost, then do join. You can either join at 1 p.m. UK time, so lunch and learn, or you can join at 4:30 p.m. on Thursday. Either or, it's the same masterclass, although I'm incapable of saying exactly the same thing, and I'd love to see you there, and I'd love you to invite your friends. So if you previously were part of the Vibes Tribe and you were telling people to come and join in, although that group has now been archived, there are other ways that you can connect, and this will be a really juicy one to start the year, covering the head, the heart and the hands. Anyway, enough of that, just having a look. I like the fact that you're all saying good morning to each other, and as usual, I'll comment. So, Hope, having only positive expectations. That's what I want to talk about very briefly this morning. So, when it comes to navigating the unknown, I want you to think about, because for many of us, we think, we need to be motivated, but think about it in relation to something specific. So towards the end of this month, I will be launching, for the first time ever, my signature system, my 5-step system, to help you to put yourself out there. I'm actually going to be laying out not just the 5 steps, but the steps beneath the steps, so that you don't have that feeling of, what do I need to do today to put myself out there? You've got it all laid out for you. And in order to get to that piece, I needed to make sure that I was motivated. Not motivated from a place of, I don't want to do this, but motivated to lay it out in a way that would serve whoever decides to jump into that. And interestingly, every time I talk about it, some of my peers and some of my clients, people are like, oh my gosh, that sounds really cool, will you let me know? So if you're one of the people that are intrigued by this, and you know that 2021 is your year to do that, I can tell you more about that as we go through this week. But if you're one of the people that's interested and want to find out a bit more, then send me a private message on this page, and I'll spend some time just to run through whether it's right for you or not. So when I was going through this process, I couldn't think about, but what if there's another lockdown, or what if people don't want to put themselves out there? What if, somebody's not interested? What if when I start to talk about this, people say, are you mad? There are different things to focus on. have only positive expectations, or hope, have only positive expectations. We need to watch where we put our focus. So if there's a thing or some things you're doing, make a note of them where you can see them and decide how you want to work through them and decide how you want to navigate them. Does that make sense? If you've got any questions, by all means, type them in the box below. If it makes sense, give me either a thumbs up or actually a love heart. It's nice to see some pink going across the screen. So don't use your kind of brain power, your energy, your motivation to think about everybody else other than yourself. Think about, what you're doing, why you're doing it, and what that outcome is. Thank you for those love hearts. I can see those even without my glasses. So that's the first thing. And I talked a lot about this even towards the sort of back end of last year, about keeping our head in the game. Not allowing for distractions, not allowing ourselves to be talked out of things. And many of you are passionate business owners. You're one-man band business owners who have to wear lots of hats, accountants, sales and marketing. You might have to wear the hat of, teacher, trainer, negotiator, salesperson. So when it comes to putting ourselves out there and being visible, sometimes we might need a little bit of a tap to help keep us in the right direction. There are already a lot of things out there to take our focus. So when you focus on what you want and what you want to achieve, which brings me on to the second point, start with the end in mind. How do you have only positive expectations? Don't just do it because it seems like a good idea. Don't just do it because someone tells you to do it. Don't just do it because, I guess my friends are doing it. Have a really great reason as to why you want to do the thing. Start with the end in mind and find your own emotional reason for wanting to do the thing. And to get to that, ask yourself a series of questions. Monday is my coaching day, so I'll be with coaching clients for some of today as well. So, we'll be talking about this kind of thing. And for those of you that like to go with the flow, it doesn't have to be formulated, it doesn't have to be set in stone, but just a little kind of guidance of this is what I want to do, this is why I want to do it, and then you move on to the next action. So, having only positive expectations. Quite often when people come to me at the beginning of coaching, one of the core reasons that they do that and the kind of transformation that they look for within themselves is sometimes self-doubt. Oh, but Jenny's worked with this person or done this, but I know it won't work for me because I'm different. I'm more scared, more worried, further back in the path, and that's simply not true. It's literally like the spoiler alert. This is like a trailer for a film. It's literally being able to look at how do I want this to be and where do I need to put my focus and where do I need to trust myself. So, for those of you who work privately with me and joined I do run something called a head office day. And in the head office day, we go through a series of questions to reflect back on what we've done the month before and also to sort of plan and have a preview of what we want to do moving forward. And by just going through that process, we find the gaps in the middle. What do we need to fill? What do we need to think about? How do we need to be different? What do we need to think about differently? Are there any skills gaps? Are there any knowledge gaps? Are there any behavioural gaps? Are there any mindset gaps? And being able to fill out those gaps will help you to move forward. So when you're having hope or having only positive expectations, we're not sticking our head in the sand and pretending that everything is, one way if it feels another way. We're looking at what the next step is to take forward. And one of the things that I've personally found over the years is that it's really, really difficult to do that for ourselves. It's almost like in our blind spot, and as we look around, it moves with us. I joke and say it's like having a ponytail, and someone says, there it is, and you're like, there, and you're like, there it is, and I go, what, here? And then it moves again. So it's always with us, but we're not necessarily sure how to navigate it. So think about the thing that you things that you want to achieve. Write them down. This is not necessarily a resolutions thing because in my mind, and interestingly, just before Christmas, I held a group training with a couple of hundred people from a particular company. and we were talking about goal setting, and they were saying, oh, but can you have too many goals? Can you set too many goals? My honest answer is no, you can't. But what you can do is have your focus put in so many places that you never get the opportunity to really finish like 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 of them. And we can leave with a feeling of disappointment, and that's not what this is about. This isn't about stuffing yourself so full or spreading yourself so thin. This is about having the sorts of expectations for yourself that you would for somebody else, especially if you think about the people closest to you, the people that you love. So just sort of riffing on that, thinking about the expectations that you have for yourself for this week. What are they? Are you on Christmas break still, a New Year break still, and are you going back to work next week? Are you, full in it? Is today your first day back? I'd love to know. Type in the comments below. Are you a person who spent the time off over Christmas to reflect, rest and recharge, or are you somebody that kept going? Now, I basically I've had Christmas off officially, and there are a few things. Some things I was able to schedule, but there were a few things that I did, in between the man watching football. I thought, okay, I could do this thing. And the reason that I could do that was because I have mapped out and planned out the sorts of things I want to do. Does it mean that it's set in stone so rigidly that I feel pressure not to do it? No. But does it mean that it enables people just like me, just like you, to be able to put ourselves out there in the world in a way that has us, sharp in the way that we want to? Absolutely. It's the reason why I get out of bed every morning. So having only positive expectations is the best thing for you and what you can do in order to motivate yourself. So just having a look, and I'm going to have to go with my funny looking eyes there. Okay, so Charlie says, I'm taking a week off from today before I start back at uni next week. That's a really great way to go. In fact, I'm hosting an online goal setting masterclass. It's really for people in the travel industry on Wednesday, and again I have shared on this page, but if you want more information, if you're in travel, hospitality, tourism, aviation, or that kind of field or sector, a lot of the people from the ITT, who's the Institute of Travel and Tourism, the Future You arm of that, I'm their mentor of the year up until June this year, so I'm going to be sharing some nuggets with them. And some of them are already working in aviation, some of them are about to work in travel and tourism, and some of them are still at uni, so they're navigating and doing what they need in the preparation in the run up to moving forward. So taking time off, definitely taking time off, having that downtime will really recharge you. And that's one way, just one way Charlie's demonstrating that you can have only positive expectations. So I love that. So enjoy your time. Oops, I keep swinging my camera around now. Back into study mode from today. So another person who's studying, I love that, and that's Ivona. Back into study mode from today, but it's all well so far. Excellent. And thank you for your lovely message to Ivona. Can't wait to catch up with you the next time we get to speak. Eunice is saying, I had Christmas off and a little work in between, then took New Year off, back into the office tomorrow. I did something similar actually to you, Eunice, and I had, from a couple of days before Christmas, all the way officially to today, but in between, as I said, the man, as he watched his football matches, I would do some like admin-y type stuff, do some stuff behind the scenes. I was surprised at how much I got done when I had so much downtime, jumped in, did a bit and came out, and that was the focus part of it. The other thing that I pleasantly surprised myself with, for all the eating and drinking that I did, was that I still maintained my marathon running. So at some times, or some points, it was 3 times a week, and sometimes 4 times a week, which, I don't know, it impresses myself if no one else. So to carry on with that, because 9 months today, I will be running the 2021 Virgin London Marathon. And even sooner than that, I'm actually going to be running a half marathon in April. So this time, despite whatever's happening on lockdown, I'm just going to keep going. And speaking of lockdown, I know it might be the kind of the elephant in the room, but I want to speak to this, especially for those of you who are business owners. You know, I've already mentioned that I've been doing a lot of work with different sectors, and one of them is the travel industry, who was really, really badly hit, as you can imagine, by this lockdown. Now, in May last year, I kept saying one of my desires, and it's a desire not that I wanted from my head, but I really feel sort of deep down in my guts, in my heart, is somehow, you know, the way that things were panning out, I knew this wouldn't be the first or the last lockdown. But one of the things that I felt really passionate about was some businesses were struggling to pivot and to be able to put themselves out there online. Some of you want to be able to do more stuff on video. Some of you want to be able to do the basic stuff on video and online, but haven't ever really kind of stuck your head into how to get out there. And it was one of the drivers for me all through last year. And for those people that realised that they maybe needed to be visible in a different way, or be visible in more ways, more frequently, more consistently. I ran a number of different online events, a number of one-to-one private programs, and now I'm running this online group program. It's actually, although it's parts of it are delivered via very short video nuggets, a bit like the 5-day challenges for those of you that have done my 5-day video challenges, visibility challenges or sales challenges. This actually takes you through 12 weeks. So a whole quarter I go through with you, and then for the next quarter we go a bit deeper. And my whole reason of doing that is for your visibility to be effective and not overwhelming. And then once you've got those underpinned points in place, to go deeper. Now, the reason that I talk about that is because this is an example of something that I'd already been doing without realising. But I knew that when winter season came, that there could be a possibility that this would happen again. And I never want anyone to feel like they have no choice. I talk about this, and this is definitely one for another time. If you've only got one thing to do, it almost feels like you're pushed in or backed into a corner. Well, this is my only choice, which never feels good to anyone. If you've got two things to do, although that's now opening up more things, it feels like a dilemma. Should I do this thing? Should I do this thing? And I'm always a kind of making a stand for the and type of girl. But when we can create multiple options for ourselves, it means that we have freedom, it means that we have choice. And this is one way to have those positive expectations, to be able to have choices for yourself, which means that people like Eunice can decide, I'm not going to work and I'm going to work here and there. It means that people like Ivona and Charlie can decide, you know what, I'm just going to take a bit of time off. It means that you're not driven to decide by what everyone else is doing, and that it works for you. So with that, I'm going to read this last comment. So Charlie says, woohoo, go Queen of Beans, seeing Jenny Kovacs. It's interesting because I do this visibility stuff, of course, with business owners and entrepreneurs. I also do this kind of career raising or professionally raising your profile, which are many of the same steps with some slight nuances and differences as an employee. So that will be the next thing that comes out around March time. So a way that you employees can keep navigating, keep focused, especially when you've got kind of furlough and things like that ringing in your ears, so that you can keep going. So multiple options to give you the freedom. Eunice likes that. And she also says she joined Garmin Workout to start running. Aim is a 10K. Started that on New Year's Eve and done a couple of runs already. So what I did and what I actually repeated was, because you've got to remember, running a marathon, or as a marathon runner, I'd never run a marathon before October. I'd never even run a 10K race or a half marathon. So what I did was, there's a really great app, I think it's out by the BBC, Couch to 5K. I literally went through and did that, and then I progressed onto the 10K. And then I kind of freestyle ran it a little bit. I intended to join running clubs but couldn't because of the current environment. And then after I ran the marathon in October, I had like a week or two's rest, and I started up again, literally the 5K because what I would like to do is I'd like to do it a little bit faster this time. I'm not aiming just on speed, but wanted to do that. So again, what I did was I took a big task and I cut it down into smaller bite-sized pieces and then went deeper. So did the first bit, went deeper, the next bit, go deeper, and I would recommend that for anyone. It becomes less overwhelming. So thank you so much for joining me. Do remember to share this post. You never know who of your friends, family might need this, and I recommend that you share it either on your personal timeline because you don't know who might need it, but if you do think of someone who might need to see this, then by all means, when you hit the share button, share it as a private message and let them know why you're sharing it, why you think this might be something great for them. So I'm going to go back and read all of the comments, and I will respond to them very shortly while I have some breakfast and get ready for my first round of calls with my private clients. And if you're one of those people that wonder what it could be like to work with me privately, or if you even need to, then by all means send me a message. I'll send you a link to book, and we'll have a chat, see if it's a good way forward. Sometimes it is, sometimes you're good. So if that's the case, I'll tell you that too. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for sharing this, and keep looking at the content. Got some really stunning content planned for this week, and I hope to see some of you on Thursday too, on the masterclass. So that's it. Have a gorgeous Monday. Hope you're motivated for your Monday at least, and your morning, your week, your month, and even your year. Bye for now.